Hello there, my name is Flint Johnson, and I'm writing this to tell you all that eerie episode that I came across as an exclusive viewer at Nickelodeon. My job was to review episodes before they aired on TV. Well, last fall, I was asked to review a Blue's Clues episode. It was supposedly driven on the lore of Blue's Clues. Viewing day. I gladly accepted and grabbed the footage of the episode. It was called Memory Time, and I thought that it was an episode on learning about memory, but I should have known better. I went to my private viewing room and started it on my PC. The intro seemed calmer than the other Blue's Clues episodes, but the rest seemed relatively normal. Steve didn't open the door, the kids did. The kids called Steve and he ran in front of the camera, confused. "Oh, hi! I forgot that you were coming!" An awkward silence happened for a few minutes, and Blue broke the silence as she jumped on Steve. "Oh, Blue!" Then the kids said what they should do. Steve stood up and started thinking on his thinking chair, and he thought. At this point, Steve seemed unhappy, probably because of his memory issues. "I strangely don't remember." I started to get concerned. Steve normally doesn't like his memory like this. After thinking about the direction of the episode, I replayed it. The kids then shouted, "Should we play Blue's Clues?" Blue motioned no with his head. Then Steve rose up from the chair and said, "No worries, I know what we should do. Make dinner!" Steve went to the left happily and the camera followed him as he arrived at the kitchen. He took a knife and placed an onion on the table. Then Steve exclaimed, "Now remember to be slow and steady with knives, kids." But he didn't seem to have listened to his own words as he cut the onion as fast as he could, and he ended up cutting his index finger. He screamed and cried as the cream faded out. I was rather disappointed about the episode, as it wasn't like the others, but my curiosity got the best of me and I continued viewing it. The next scenes were in the bathroom. Steve stood in front of the bathtub, motionlessly, staring deeply into the camera. "Where am I? Who am I?" Steve's eyes widened and the camera went to the exit of the bathroom and closed the door. Then the introduction replayed again, but the windows of Steve's house were locked and it was raining. Only the sound of rain was playing as the kids knocked on Steve's house and he slowly opened the door. He seemed sad and cold and desperate. "Why are you here? It's over." The kids replied with, "We can help you, Steve," but Steve sat on the ground and lowered his head. "My memory has been like this from the beginning. That's why I kept asking you for help." He was sobbing as he talked. "My parents undereducated me." Then he ran into the garden and looked at pictures of his parents. "I was lied to, undereducated, and alone." Every character was behind Steve, worried. Steve looked behind him in anger. "You were all created by me! You're make-believe!" I started feeling sad for Steve at this point. For a kid's show, that was too much. Every character also started crying and they vanished one by one. Steve was now alone, and his house also changed into this abandoned house without electricity, and it seemed broken. Steve threw the picture of his parents on the floor and walked back into his house. The camera followed. "Stop following me and filming my every move." The kids were also mad about Steve's actions, but they did not respond. "I lost everyone and everything. I regret remembering my past. I'm cursed to be in pain and be forgetful. I will never be the same again." Steve looked over the camera and he started talking to himself. "Leave me alone. My life is the only thing I have left. I can't take this anymore." Steve then threw a brick on his head and he was unconscious on the ground. His last words sounded like this: "What is life? Who am I? Where am I?" His eyes opened. They had veins and they seemed lifeless, and the credits rolled without the characters. There was one last text that was displayed in the credits. It stated, "Don't let your memory fade away or it might break your heart." I was disgusted and shocked at what I just witnessed, and I, of course, refused for this episode to be aired. The directors of Blue's Clues kept the episode and they left it forgotten in a box somewhere. Till this day I never found out who created this episode, but Steve Burns told me this: "I'm afraid that I cannot specify who created the episode, but it was a group that seemed to lack their memories too. So they wrote the script and bought the studio to make it come true. I, of course, refused to act in it, but they found a way to manipulate me into doing it. This is also one of the reasons why I left Blue's Clues."